Welcome to Law Days and Lattes, the podcast where we blend the world of law and business with a warm cup of information and common sense. I'm your host, Sidney Wheelan, attorney, real estate investor, and business owner. Each week, we'll be your go-to source for legal insights, business advice, and so much more. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an ambitious entrepreneur, or simply someone seeking guidance, we'll have you covered. From navigating the legal landscape to empowering you with valuable business strategies, we'll explore the legal side of life and enjoy a virtual latte along the way. So, grab your favorite latte, get comfortable, and let's dive into Law Days and Lattes. Welcome to Law Days and Lattes. This podcast is sponsored by the Wheelan Law Firm of Moberly, Missouri, your go-to source for legal issues encountered by your family and your business. If you have questions about anything we discuss on this podcast, please reach out to us at wheelanlaw.com. Our goal is to serve you, your family, and your business, both professionally and with the utmost compassion and understanding. I'm your host, Sidney Wheelan, and welcome to episode number 21 of Law Days and Lattes. In the last episode of this podcast, I told you I was going to talk more about car insurance and how to protect yourself and your business by having the right coverage. Today, we will delve into that topic a bit more. Automobile insurance coverage can be categorized into several types, each serving different purposes and providing different levels of protection. As a personal injury attorney with over 20 years of experience, I have had the opportunity to review dozens of automobile insurance policies over the years, while assisting my clients and their families after serious automobile, motorcycle, or truck collisions. I can tell you that one of the most devastating things I can tell a client whose family member has been seriously injured or killed in a violent collision is that there is not enough insurance to cover their injuries or damages. While we can't always prevent those collisions or the terrible injuries they cause, there are some things that you can do to protect your family and your business from financial disaster as a result of a serious collision. Automobile insurance coverage is one of the most important pieces of the financial protection puzzle. While there are many different types of insurance coverages, I'm going to talk to you today about a few of the coverages that I think are the most important ones when it comes to protecting your financial house in the event of a serious automobile collision. First of all, liability coverage. It covers two main types of liability. Bodily injury liability covers the cost associated with injuries or death that you or another driver cause while driving your car. And then there is property damage liability, which covers damage that you or another driver operating your car caused to another vehicle or another piece of property. This is the type of coverage that protects you or your business if you are at fault at causing injury or damages to another person. Most, if not all states, require the owner or operator of a motor vehicle to have at least a minimum amount of liability insurance to legally operate a motor vehicle on the highway. In Missouri, you are only required to have liability insurance limits of $25,000 per person or $50,000 per accident. My recommendation is to buy as much liability protection as you can afford. One trip to the emergency room for a person you cause injury to could easily exhaust the minimum limits of $25,000 per person and expose you or your business to a judgment in excess of the limits of the insurance coverage. This is when it pays to get to know your local insurance agents. Those local agents are your friends and neighbors, and they usually understand how to protect your interests. You have to talk to them, though. Tell them about your assets, your home, your businesses. They need to know what is at stake and how to get you the best coverage at good rates. Tell your agent about your vehicles and how they are titled. Are they titled into your trust? Are they titled into your business? Do you use your vehicle in your business? All of this information is important for your agent to know so that they can make sure you have the liability protection that you need. And while you are at it, ask them about umbrella coverage. Sometimes your agent will be able to get you $1 million or more in liability coverage by adding a personal umbrella insurance to the regular liability coverage you might ordinarily purchase for your automobiles. Now, the second type of insurance I want to talk to you about today is uninsured motorist coverage. Uninsured motorist coverage covers your injuries and, in some states, property damage if you're hit by an uninsured driver. Again, this is the type of coverage that is usually mandated by the laws of your state if you are operating a motor vehicle. Unlike liability insurance, however, uninsured motorist coverage protects you and your family if you are injured by the negligence of the other driver, but the other driver does not have liability insurance coverage. Remember, the required uninsured motorist vehicle coverage is only minimal. In Missouri, it is only $25,000 per person or $50,000 per collision. The minimum coverage may not be enough to protect your family or your business if you are involved in a serious motor vehicle collision. So please talk to your agent to determine the amount of coverage right for you and your family. 3. The third type of coverage I recommend is underinsured motorist coverage. This is not usually required by state statute, but I consider it very important to your automobile insurance portfolio. Be sure to tell your agent that you want underinsured motor vehicle coverage. You can't count on the other guy to have enough insurance to cover your damages if they cause you to be injured. Make sure you have enough. Most of us know about uninsured motorist coverage, like we just talked about. However, underinsured motorist coverage is the insurance coverage that pays us if we are seriously injured by another driver, but that driver does not have enough coverage to pay for our damages. Remember, not every driver out there is responsible, and it is up to us to take care of our families and our businesses. If we cannot count on the other drivers to have enough coverage if they cause a collision, then it is imperative that we make sure we have underinsured motorist coverage on our own policies. Not all underinsured motorist policies are the same, though, so talk to your agent or an experienced attorney if you have questions about your underinsured motorist coverage. Just because your policy has limits of, say, $100,000/$300,000 limits, it does not necessarily mean that you have that much coverage above what the other guy has. It sometimes means that if you are seriously injured, your insurance company will take into consideration what you collect from the other driver and only pay you the difference between the other guy's insurance and the total limits of your coverage. Another thing to consider is that there may be a step-down provision in your policy. This means that if someone else besides you or your spouse is driving your vehicle, that person may not be insured up to the same limits that you are. This is actually quite a common provision in automobile policies, and you should talk to your insurance agent about it. If someone else frequently or even occasionally drives your vehicle, you may want to consider adding them as an additional insured on your vehicle to make sure that that person is fully protected while operating your car. 4. The last type of automobile coverage that I want to talk to you about today is medical payments coverage, or MedPay for short. Medical payments coverage is an insurance coverage that pays medical bills for anyone injured in your motor vehicle, regardless of the fault of the driver. Many years ago, I had an insurance agent argue with me that MedPay was not necessary if I had health insurance, and I had to disagree. Yes, at that time, I had health insurance coverage, and I still do. However, I cannot guarantee that all passengers that ride in my vehicle also have health insurance, and I want to make sure that if someone is injured in my car, that they are able to get the treatment they need quickly and without any unnecessary delay. Usually, MedPay is sold in increments of $1,000 to $5,000, and it is relatively inexpensive. It can provide you with a little peace of mind for your passengers. Because it is a no-fault type of coverage, usually all it takes for you or your passengers to take advantage of this type of coverage, if you have it, is to submit medical bills to your automobile insurance company, and then they will pay the claim regardless of fault. There are many other types of car insurance that you may find helpful or good to have if you can afford it, and if you find those coverages important to you, such as collision coverage, comprehensive coverage, gap insurance, rental reimbursement coverage, and roadside assistance. Talk to your automobile insurance agent about those coverage if you are interested. However, the big four in my book of essential coverages is what we just discussed: liability coverage, uninsured motorist coverage, underinsured motorist coverage, and MedPay. Make sure you have enough coverage in these four areas, and you will progress a long way in your quest to protect your family and your business in the event you or a family member is involved in a serious automobile collision. Thank you for listening today. I hope that you have found some great information to provide you some peace of mind for your family and business. If you have questions about anything we've talked about on this podcast, please reach out to us at wheelanlaw.com. We will also put our contact information in the show notes. And as a reminder, if you hit the subscribe button, you will automatically be alerted when a new episode airs. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star review and share it with your friends and family. As always, my friends, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite latte, hold your loved ones tight, and have a great week.
This podcast episode contains general information for discussion purposes only. Each case is different and must be judged on its own merits. Missouri rules generally prohibit lawyers from advertising that they specialize in particular areas of the law. This show should not be construed to suggest such specialization. Nothing on this show should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, and the listening or viewing of this podcast does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.